Before you pet that cat, stop for a second. What if I told you that Islam has already spoken about this, down to the smallest detail? Some people believe cats bring blessings, others think they make the house impure. But what's the truth? The Prophet once said something that changes everything you think about keeping a cat at home. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what Islam says and why mercy toward this small creature could decide your reward or your sin. In Islam, keeping a cat at home is completely permissible, neither haram nor makruh, provided the animal is treated with kindness, cleanliness is maintained, and no harm is caused to others. The Prophet Muhammad himself clarified this matter in authentic narrations, removing any doubt about the purity and permissibility of cats. One of the most famous hadith states, "The cat is not impure. It is one of those animals that move around among you." Sunan Abu Dawud 75 Sahih. This statement is decisive. It shows that cats are ṭāhir, pure, and their presence in the home or masjid does not invalidate purity or prayer. Even if a cat drinks from your vessel, that water remains pure. Islam is a balanced religion. It recognizes both spiritual cleanliness and emotional compassion. Historically, many Muslims, including scholars and righteous people, kept cats out of affection and care. The well-known companion Abu Hurairah was nicknamed Father of the Kitten because of his love for cats, a name the Prophet himself approved of. This beautiful example demonstrates that compassion toward animals is a mark of faith, not negligence of it. However, permissibility comes with responsibility. A Muslim should feed the cat, offer clean water, and ensure its well-being. Neglecting or harming an animal is a grave sin. As mentioned in the Hadith, a woman was condemned for imprisoning a cat without food or freedom until it died, reminding us that mercy toward animals is a moral and spiritual duty. Thus, keeping a cat is not only allowed but can become a source of reward when done with sincerity, mercy, and respect for Allah's creation. One clear and comforting point in the Islamic tradition is that cats are not considered ritually impure in a way that would invalidate a person's wudu ablution or salah prayer. This ruling comes from prophetic reports and has been the mainstream position among classical Sunni scholars. A cat's normal presence, fur, or drinking from a vessel does not make that space or water impure. The Prophet is reported to have said that the cat is not impure. It is one of those animals that move around among you. Sunan Abu Dawud. That hadith is usually cited to show the permissibility and purity status of cats. Practically, this means several reassuring things for a Muslim household. If a cat sits on your clothing or your prayer mat, your wudu is not automatically invalidated. You may simply remove any visible dirt and continue with your prayer. If a cat drinks from a bowl, that water is not rendered impure by default, although good hygiene practice would discourage shared drinking vessels. Similarly, the ordinary shedding of fur does not carry ritual impurity. Regular cleaning is sufficient. That said, Islamic law balances ritual rulings with common sense cleanliness. If a cat urinates or defecates on clothing or a prayer rug, the soiled area must be cleaned before use. Visible filth that would realistically disturb prayer should be removed. Also, owners are responsible for maintaining hygiene and preventing disease, vaccination, litter management, because ritual permissibility does not excuse negligence. In short, cats are ritually pure in mainstream Islamic understanding, so their presence does not negate prayer or ablution. While owners should still keep their homes clean and treat the animal mercifully, Islam places mercy and compassionate conduct at the heart of its moral teaching. The Prophet was sent as a mercy to the worlds, and believers are repeatedly instructed to mirror that mercy in how they treat other people and all of Allah's creatures. From this broad principle follows a clear moral rule. Showing kindness and avoiding cruelty are religious duties, Mistreatment of animals or people is blameworthy and sinful. There are several grounding points for this obligation. First, the prophetic example. Numerous authentic reports show the Prophet treating animals gently, forbidding needless harm, and praising merciful behavior. One famous narration warns of accountability for those who trap, starve, or torture animals, indicating moral and spiritual consequences for cruelty. Second, classical scholars explain that the Islamic concept of husn al-khulq includes mercy, patience, and gentleness. These traits are part of Iman, faith, and reflect a believer's relationship with Allah. Practically, this means provide food, water, shelter, and care to dependent creatures. Do not confine, hurt, or neglect an animal, and prevent harm when you can. If a pet or stray is injured or sick, seeking treatment or humane relief is the correct, responsible course. Likewise, inflicting suffering for amusement, convenience, or revenge violates Islamic ethics and may attract sin. There is also a social dimension. Cruelty erodes one's character and harms community trust. A person who shows mercy earns spiritual reward and refines their soul. One who is cruel hardens their heart and distances themselves from prophetic ethics. In short, mercy is not optional decoration. It is central to being a Muslim. Caring for animals, treating people with compassion, and rejecting cruelty are practical expressions of worship and moral duty. Islam strongly emphasizes ṭāhir, cleanliness, and the obligation not to cause harm to others. When keeping a cat at home, these principles translate into practical duties that protect both your household's ritual life and the wider community's health and comfort. First, cleanliness. The Prophet said that cleanliness is half of faith, so pet owners should keep living areas hygienic. Provide a dedicated, regularly cleaned litter area, preferably tiled or on a washable surface. Scoop daily and fully change and disinfect litter trays often. Wash bedding, rugs, and prayer mats if a cat soils them. If only fur is present, simple brushing or shaking out usually suffices. Always wash hands after handling litter or cleaning the cat's area. Good hygiene reduces risks of zoonotic infection. Second, veterinary care and public safety. Vaccinate and deworm your cat. Treat fleas/ticks and seek prompt veterinary help for injuries or unusual symptoms. A sick or aggressive animal can be a public safety risk. Responsible owners isolate and treat sick pets and avoid letting an ill animal roam freely. If a cat is likely to bite or scratch frequently, train or restrain it humanely to prevent harm. Third, respect for others and places of worship. Avoid allowing your cat to soil neighbors' property or communal spaces. Islam teaches la darar wa la dirar, no harm, no reciprocating harm. So make sure your pet does not nuisance others, damage property, or disturb guests. Keep cats away from prayer rugs and food preparation areas out of respect and to maintain ritual cleanliness for family members. Finally, educate family members, especially children, about gentle handling and hygiene. Treating the animal mercifully while observing cleanliness and safety converts pet care into an act of worship and communal responsibility. In short, love and mercy for animals must be paired with sensible, regular hygiene and preventive care so that neither your household nor your neighbors are harmed. In Islam, responsibility brings both accountability and opportunity. Caring properly for a pet is not merely a domestic chore. It can be an act of hasanah, good deed, and even counted as sadaqah when done with sincere intention. The Shari ethos ties action to intention, so feeding, sheltering, and treating a cat with mercy are deeds that may earn spiritual reward because they reflect compassion, a central prophetic virtue. Practically, this means owners must meet concrete obligations. Provide nutritious food and clean water. Arrange timely veterinary care, vaccinations, deworming, treatment. Maintain a hygienic living area and prevent the animal from harming others. These duties are not optional extras. Neglect or abuse is blameworthy. When you discharge these responsibilities conscientiously, you transform routine care into worshipful service. Each measured act of kindness becomes a means to draw nearer to Allah. Think of pet care as ongoing sadaqah. Leaving food and water for a stray cat, rescuing an injured animal, or paying for a vet visit for a sick creature are all charitable acts. They relieve suffering, protect public health, and refine the hearts of those involved. Furthermore, raising children in an environment that teaches mercy, responsibility, and respect for life builds moral character. Another long-term spiritual return. There's also a communal dimension. Responsible ownership prevents nuisance and disease, safeguards neighbors, and honors shared spaces, living the Islamic principle of la darar, no harm. Conversely, shirking duties can lead to harm, social friction, and spiritual liability. In short, treat pet stewardship seriously, do the practical things well, intend them for Allah, and your compassion will likely be met with reward. Caring responsibly for a cat is not merely permissible. When done with love and duty, it becomes a continuous, humble form of charity and devotion.